All right, y'all, what's happening? Welcome to the Bookmap stream. It is July 2nd, 2025, the first stream of July, as we are now passing the 50% mark on 2025. Got here quick, didn't it? Yeah, buddy. We are live on YouTube. We're live on Discord, so you should be able to see both. Right now, what do we have? A relentless, massive green trend. After a beautiful sell into 22,600 on NASDAQ, we are now sitting at 22,800, which is a 200-point move. We have now cleared my pivot of 22,760 on the way up. I've taken one trade today, was a long at 600. I've closed out way before this because of a trailing stop hit. But regardless, we have a move. 22,775 is the major liquidity. We have a very green CVD, which is 28,000 or 2,800. I'm sorry, which is showing that the buyers are very skewed over to the aggregate. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I use Bookmap in a way that identifies skew. What does that mean? That's fancy talk for just looking for where is the book stacked at. Is it stacked up? Is it stacked down? The market seeks out liquidity, and liquidity is shown through the process of order book skew. And that's why we're here. Keep things simple. Keep things simple. NASDAQ is still going. Do not short this. Do not short this until you have the three criteria. We now, on the 5-minute, we just had a high volume spike at 1025, but it didn't close bearish. So you had volume. The other two criteria remain unseen. So thus, we go higher. 800, we have liquidity to 6225 on ES. NASDAQ has a little up to 837. However, they also have levels down here at 779. If I had to guess, we're going for the imbalance at 858 or 850, 848. Coming back up. This has some legs. Yeah, buddy. I need a lesson on imbalances sometime. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Look, they're stacking a little bit more liquidity at 22,745. Just a little. But this has been a relentless trend. We've been now going for 2 hours. We have been climbing since 600. The order book was skewed higher. We have 2 billion in 0 DTE calls purchased. So once again, the low volume gives way to the massive amount of 0 DTE calls. We also have 340 million of sold puts. So collectively, we got about 2.5 billion of positive delta here on the option chain, which is showing this thing just absolutely going. It's nearly impossible to have a drawdown when you're seeing that kind of delta come on the book or the option chain. Just absolute monster. But yet again, I think for like the 10th time in the past month, we have a relentless open that just keeps on going. My name is Jeff. What's up, Sidekick Guru? Should I just long from here then? I don't like chasing the tail end, you know. I'm a newbie to your channel. What's up, Terry? You were talking about minis. I only trade micros. Do I need to size up? It depends. My gut reaction to that, Terry, is to say no. But I would have to know more about you, about your trading experience, how long you've been trading, you know, are you profitable or not, that type of thing. Where's the imbalance on the S&P? The imbalance on the S&P is going to be up to 6270. We've already taken out the first one at 56, and now they're coming up to 70. Nvidia's up 2%, Apple's up 2%, Tesla's up 4.5%, Amazon's up 7%, Microsoft is still down, Meta is still down. Did I wait for confirmation on the morning long? In a way, yes. I waited for the bottom wick to form. The way I play those things, Math, is that I want to be on the side of the market. So like I've said before, when we approach those levels, I can almost guarantee they're going to bounce off that level once. I don't know how far, I don't know how long they're going to bounce it, but I know they're going to bounce it once. It could be 5 points, it could be 200 points. So I set the position, I wait for it to clear the structure, and I move my stop into play. Once my stop is placed into profit and I've locked in the trade, and now it's a completely stress-free trade, I take my hands off the mouse. I go get a coffee, I go walk around, I go do something else, I talk to you all, and let the trade play out. Sometimes I stop out, sometimes I catch a massive win. So, yeah, it's just the confirmation there, depending on the trade, depending on where you're at. It's very quick or very long. In this case, I'm not shorting this unless I see massive amount of confirmation. Now, I will say, I do treat the long call, the long side of the trade, I treat that a little bit more carelessly, I guess you could say, lack of a better word, than the short side of the market. With the short side of the market, you've got to be very, very tight. The long side of the market, when the market is doing this stuff the past 3 months, the long side of the market, you can get away with a little slop. You can get away with a little slop. Not going to lie. But that's the nature of the beast. When the market starts a downturn and we have a 3-month sell-off, then you play a little sloppily on the short side of the market. You switch it back and forth. But right now, the trend is aggressively up all the time. You have to play the market conditions. Right now, the market condition says buy every single red move. Period. Look at the liquidity at 812. So they're stacking some liquidity at 812 here on NASDAQ. ES, they've got up to, you see this little cat spoofing at 61.62. How do I watch on Discord? I can't work it out. You have to go to the verification channel, which I'll post the channel on Bookmap. You have to verify, which only takes a moment. Let's see, create invoice, copy. Here, Sam, I'm going to post it in our Discord channel. Go to the Discord verification on Bookmap. You done that? If that's not working, try to restarting. If that doesn't work, then I'll have to do some troubleshooting for you. But until then, you can follow along on YouTube. I don't even know what an imbalance is. Imbalance between multiple markets. Can you explain what you mean imbalance? Yeah, 100%. So, an imbalance for me is a place where the market becomes imbalanced. For the market to trend one way or the other, there has to be an imbalance created. The market cannot trend when it's balanced. A balanced market means there's essentially an equal number of buyers and sellers. For the market to trend up like this, there has to be a preponderance of buyers and a lack of sellers. Or just a simple not enough sellers to overcome the demand, and thus we go higher. So we go much higher. And then to plot an imbalance, you have to plot where the imbalance was created. In this case, if you look at NASDAQ, the imbalance from Friday was created there, 22,847. If you want to be technical, I would probably say, somewhere in this area, it's 825 would probably be a better target to short or to look for a rejection. But 846 would be the technical imbalance creation, because the market went from consolidation to break down into skew, which is downside trend. So now we have an imbalance at 847. And the market loves to fill these imbalances because it creates an order book imbalance of a lack of their orders. So the buyers come up, fill the 847, and then you analyze price action to see what their next target is. But look what's happening here on the 5-minute. Now, granted, this is the 5-minute chart. There's no coincidence that we've kind of stuck here for the past 15. So we're coming up here. I'll see if you can see. I'll do this over here. So we're coming up here. We have volume. It's the highest volume candle of the day, not counting the opening candle, which I never try to count. The volume came on this candle right here, which was a bullish candle. But what does that tell you about this volume? Is that the buyers have found some sort of supply right here. Right here. So we have volume right here to supply, and that's why we're kind of stuck here. It's not to say that we're going to reject yet because you don't have the 3 criteria. All that's saying is that we found some supply. And then next up is going to be the 847, and then we'll look for volume again. It's stopping volume, 100%. Imbalances become more obvious in the higher time frame, 100%. Absolutely right. So an imbalance is somewhat like fair value. Are you referring to ICT? I feel too rookie for copy trading. What are your thoughts? Don't do it. I tried to trade micros and get over $200 a day, but if I have a bad day, I blow multiple accounts, not just one. I think that's correct. Do not copy trade until you're comfortable with it. Should I try to continue in copy trading, or do you recommend trading it each day individually? Look at this. I would not copy trade until you are ready. Until you found some success. Look at that. Volume, supply, sell. This is why I'm a VPA trader, baby. Sometimes it's, I mean, like when the price has moved too fast, you need the buyer to sell it to get an equal chance. Oh, that's an imbalance. That's an imbalance. Beautiful, for gracious skies and amber. Yeah, so I mean, all those concepts out there, man, it all comes down to this. It's just technical jargon to make themselves sound smart. You know, one of my drill instructors told me long ago in the military that if someone's is attempting to talk over your head by using overly technical jargon, there's a good chance they are completely full of crap because they're compensating for something. The smartest people, you learn how to break things down into very basic terms. Not to say that I'm smart. I'm just saying I learned to break things down in very simple terms. They're scamming on options? What do you mean? $22. They removed all that liquidity, whatever the crap that was. I walked away for a minute and came back, so we're going to short if the 15-minute candle makes a new low. More likely, yes. There you go. What Trader J just said. Oil had their little shakeout with news. NASDAQ for a retest. Sophisticated people talking in circles. Yep. Coming all the way back up. That's a volume double volume influx of volume here at 22.8, and they're building it right on back up here. So just to show you the strength of this move. Strength of the move, baby. Is that the signal to short? Didn't get the 3 criteria. Didn't close it. Didn't close it. Right on back up. So spotting an imbalance is basically the same thing as spotting a fair value gap. I suppose so. I don't follow ICT all that closely, but from what have seen, yes. New high. Look at that. Absolutely rocket ships. Technically still waiting. Correct. Yeah, we haven't had a close yet, so the 3 criteria is met, so it's nothing but up. Nothing but up. What'd you say? Yep, that's a retest right there. 100%. Oh yeah, what McGurky said. Look at the Nike chart. What happened to them the past couple of days? Going crazy. Liquidity at 841. Man, it's nothing but up. Crazy stuff. You're long on Nike from 52. Nice. The 3 criteria, yes. So if you're looking for a short on an uptrend, you have to wait for a top wick with volume and a close lower. However, you know, that may insinuate that you're going to sit there and watch a green trend and wait for a short. That's not what I'm insinuating. I'm insinuating that if you happen to be looking for a short position on an uptrend, you've got to wait for those 3 criteria. Otherwise, you either do nothing or you stay long. I've already taken my longs for the day, so I'm just kind of waiting for this thing to fizzle out. Unfortunately, it keeps on going, leaving me in the dust. Keeps on going. ICD is basically just making simple turns for setups. Have been traded for decades. Yep. SMT divergence. There you go. Thanks, Trader J. Jabroni. How do you think about trading Tesla options? I like Tesla. Tesla usually put on some big moves. It's a lot of opportunity. You have to be very careful with it, but as long as you treat it with respect, you can do very well with Tesla and wait for the signs. Still going. Straight up now. Going, going, going. That was a good time for a Command and Conquer. Move's already been made. Yep. These are the type of the days that admittedly I don't trade well because I don't trade the first 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And if it just keeps on going like this, I never really get a true entry. So it just keeps on going. Like I said, I already taken my one long of 22.6. Got stopped out on that one sometime around 10 o'clock. And now we're just going. So for me, it's just more of a waiting game to see what the next step is. I got no problem with that. Patience never really fails me. Daily chart, we have hammer off 22.6. ES, not a red candle since June 20th. June 20th. This will be 7 days in a row green. 8 days in a row green if it closes. Liquidity up to 837, 850. 850 would effectively close the imbalance. And they will be free to roam about the cabin. Say my name. What's up, Matthew Pettyjohn? How you doing, buddy? Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Let's go take a look around. Palantir still, or not Palantir, holy crap. Platinum still coming up. The Dow is staying down today, as opposed to rocket ships like prior sessions when we were very green. Silver's coming up. Gold's not really moving. Oil's still coming down to the 65, looking for a 63 touch so I could whammy this some oil. The yields are up. 30-year continues depressing to 4.8. And TLT has gapped down to 87, but trying to recover. As we maintain the trend lines. Now that's a trend line right there. Look at that thing. TLT has just been touching the trend line 1,000 times. About to change the name to McGabagooley. Please do it. Please do it. Is the live stream still active? Yes, it is, HBL. You should go down, if you go down to the stream, you should be able to see the video. That can be deleted because we're through it. Am I still using Iceberg? Yes, I am. I am still using the icebergs, although admittedly I have to reload it. For some reason it's dropped off my software, so I have to re-download it and then reload it. Nice top wick here. 3 criteria. Don't become a largemouth bass. And look for that big old jig sitting right there. Can you show us how to use the volume profile? Yes, I can, Hal. Yes, I can. That's a great question. Volume profile. Volume profile is, my opinion, the one and only indicator that you need on your chart. It shows you volume at price. Volume at price. The red and green candles at the bottom, volume at time. The white histogram I have here to the side is volume at price. So this tells you the highest amount of activity at a certain price. It's a very, very valuable indicator because the market seeks out liquidity. It's effectively, the volume profile is effectively the past order flow. Bookmap in the order book is the future order flow, which is going to be filled. The volume profile is the past historical data, which is very, very important. So in the essence of the volume profile is you need to focus on the higher volume nodes on the longer time frame. What's a node? That's a node. That's a node. This is a lack of. So anything that the volume spikes like this, the activity spikes, you want to pay attention to on the longer time frame. Anything 60-minute, 240-minute, daily, whatever, that's what you want to pay attention to. You short off of it, you buy off of it. You use it as a magnet if the price action is going to it. You may use it as a target. That's the type of thing. So keep an eye on those. I've got a YouTube video that goes very in depth into how to use the volume profile, but effectively it's a way to measure activity in the market. Is the market supportive? Is the market unsupportive? Is the market going in supply? That type of thing. By the way, 2 15-minute top wicks forming on the NASDAQ. Can you get volume profile on Quantower? Yes, you can. With TPT, I would think yes, but I don't know for certain. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. Is that Lux Algo? This is KV4 coins. KV4 coins, which you look at my indicators right here. This cat right here. I would like to think that I'm responsible for like most of his subscribers because I've been pinging his stuff since day one. I'm sure somewhere out there KV4 Coins is like, why am I getting so many signups randomly? Well, I'm using his stuff. There you go. You're welcome, KV4 Coins. You're welcome. JD Vance has said, I would love to hear an argument for why Powell cut rates 50 points right before the election, but can't do it now with inflation's even lower. Well, There you go. The vacant area between two volume shelves is where you get your largest P&Ls. Beautiful, Kaz. Love it. So y'all say it better than I can. Should order flow allow you to get a day like today slicing through those areas? Yeah, it's a transit area. The high volume areas are pivot high activity areas. The low volume areas are transit areas. That's where the market transits from one to the other. Hero indicator right now on the S&P is showing 2.03 billion in calls and 119 million in sold puts. Aggressively positive delta. So the 0 DTE options right now are throwing this market to the stratosphere. And until you get the volume on your side, it's hard to short. It's almost impossible to short. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hump day. I have to mute. I'll be back here in a couple minutes. Hey, does it look like a head and shoulders pattern is forming? I don't know. I don't trade head and shoulders. I think head and shoulders is complete hogwash. Me personally. Respectfully. The volume profile you had on screen is for NASDAQ. That's correct. Yep, this is for NASDAQ. Have I had any losses this week? This week I have not had any losses, but I've only traded a couple of times, and I've only traded at high volume pivots. So I told you all on Sunday that my goal this week was to trade less than last week, and it's worked out very, very well. I'm not sitting there scalping 15 times a day. I'm taking literally 2 to 3 trades this week, period. So it's allowing me to kind of just chill. Gamma 6300 is crazy. Would 6252 be a good short on the S&P? $62.52. Well, I mean, we're already beyond that, dude. Hold on, did I read that right? Yeah, we're already beyond that. We're at 62 now. If you meant 62, Possibly. There's a little support resistance feature here on 62.62, which is kind of like right here, but it's not something I would front run a short off of, especially on a day like today. What's the name of that volume node indicator? This is KV4 Coins volume profile. I'll show it to you right here. KV4 Coins volume profile. TPT only work with TopStep. Yeah. TopStep-X is a pretty good. I'm pretty happy with TopStep-X. They did a great job on creating that platform, although there is definitely some slippage. I just don't like the concept of pigeonholing everyone into only one broker. Apparently, our boy Patrick Wayland is getting served legal documents from TopStep. He was chirping about that yesterday. Do the volume nodes on the POC override macro levels? No, because I use them to create the macro levels. They are one and the same, basically. The volume profile is heavily influenced, or my macro levels are heavily influenced by the volume profile and the major volume nodes in the POC. Everything is straight up now for 2 hours. Going. 835. No shorting until the 3 criteria is met. Still going. If it goes back, yeah, if it goes back down there, yeah. 100%. You said KV like 4 years ago. Oh yeah. Yeah, you've been around for a while, definitely. Still going. 842. You have to look at the imbalance here. We have an imbalance coming up here. I have to think that if they're going to top ticket, it's going to be at this area. Otherwise, no shorting until you get a lower close. In my opinion, lower close on the 15-minute. Right now, it's just straight up. Look at that. That's a massive, massive trend. Massive, massive trend. Absolute monster trend. I like phone trading, admittedly, if I can get to something in the last 30 minutes. Otherwise, when I'm home, I've been seeking out trades via desktop, which is why I wanted to Quant Tower now with multiple accounts. After adding up profits and number of ticks, points achieved, my most profitable lowest position, the longest held trades all occurred between 6 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Nice. Well, there you go. If that's the case, then trade that time frame, exploit it. This run's insane. It is insane. Yep. It is. This is a monster move. We're going on 250 points straight up. Not a single red candle that's closed lower on the 15. Actually, no, that is true. This one didn't close lower. So they have just filled the imbalance from Tuesday. Did I make a trade today? Yes, I did. I longed 22,600 on NASDAQ. I longed right here this morning in pre-market. I have since got out. I've stopped out of the trade. I'm not currently in it, which I wish I was. But yeah, I took one trade. It was a very great trade. You know, it's a great trade. Almost netted 100 points, but I got stopped. It's absolute squeeze mode. Crazy move. So where we just top tick off? 84750. So 50 or 20, 2 ticks off of the imbalance here. So what did he do? What did who do? a hero indicator only showing 0 DTs. Correct. Correct. Which right now, let me hit an update on it. Right now we have 1.9 billion in calls and 73 million in puts, so they're starting to buy back a very small portion of the puts. But I mean that should be pretty obvious here. They're going to start to price in some profit taking here as the higher this thing goes. We have this 22,850 and 22,862 as the skewed higher on the book coming up. Israel Foreign Minister said it's time to reactivate snapback. What the crap is snapback? Oh, Patrick Whalen. I don't know what he did, but he tweeted yesterday that he's getting served papers to appear in court by Top Step. I don't know what he did. Still going. Still going. 837. Absolute rocket mode on ES and NASDAQ. Top tick. Here's the imbalance. The imbalance is not technically filled, but it's, for most purposes, filled. Beautiful. Beautiful. They removed the upside liquidity at 862. Such a boomer term. I'm ignorant of whoever big trading gurus are. Yeah. He's arguably the most popular YouTuber out there. But very controversial. Another bottom wick, of course. Don't even think about shorting until you get the 3 criteria. Still going. The 3 criteria: 15-minute, top wick, high volume. Negative. 2 of those are right. So you need a top wick, you need volume. The third one is lower close. Lower close. Good question, Matt. Love it. Good question. Where do you guys see the KV4 coins volume profile? I hear it mentioned, but I'm not seeing it on my screen. Only Bookmap session. Here, I'll show you. If you go into your indicators on TradingView, here you go, easy. Right there. Top tick right off the imbalance. High volume can get confidence and setup. There you go. Trader J's is on it today, man. He's like my encyclopedia. I feel like Trader J is my ChatGPT AI response bot. He's been on it today. Where you been for these past year, man? I need you in here doing that. Nice little top tick off of the imbalance. Can it hold, though? 15-minute right here, we have top tick. We do have volume. You see the volume? That is volume. We have higher volume. We have a top tick. Can we get a lower close? That's the question. Now, to kind of circle back, to touch base, to double down, to piggyback off of what Trader J said. If you wanted to go for a lower close, technically you would need a 774 close. Now that is 40 to 50 points down from here. You may miss out on some opportunity. If you took an entry before then, okay, so be it. I don't mind. You just have to, of course, make sure you're mitigating risk. Like what Trader J said, is that volume is simply confidence. Every time you hear the word volume in the market, you simply think confidence in terms of entry. It's a civil action against him to protect trade secrets, so I guess there's mad he's making money. Trade secrets? Oh, in that case, I'm with Patrick on that one. I got your trade secrets right here. So what volume profile should I watch on Quant Tower? Previous month visible range, fixed range. Fixed range. The visible range works, but only in certain applications. But you need the fixed range. Spiritual Journey, love it. Can you give me a view of the volume profile on it? Yes. Yeah, let's take a look. You got to let it load because it is a, there you go. There's a 15-minute. Right there. So the candle just closed as a hammer. If the next one closes below that, it's a good indicator of turning over. Yep. So we just had an inverse hammer on NASDAQ, or on the S&P. If we can get under this 62.57, we could start to see a little bit of retracement. Now you have a number of targets if we do start to drop. You got the 50% retracement. You've got the morning 15-minute high. You've got the POC on the 15-minute. Or you've got the morning low, which is way down here to 62.38. But then that becomes a secondary level of analysis once you take entry. Is this correct? For ES, we want to, yes, that's correct. 100%. For confirmation, for confidence, you want to close under those candles. Here's my volume profile options. Show POC, good. Value area, full view, okay. I don't know what the enable on the bottom is. Full chart range. Today. Well, full chart range, that sounds like a visible range type thing. I guess that depends. I think those are just the colors to code them. But I would have to get in there to look at it. I'm not, like I said, I'm not familiar with the one in Quant Tower, so I would have to get in there and kind of see that. This is the greatest trading community. I can ask questions and get real answers. There you go. College wasn't even this helpful. Appreciate that, Matt. Thank you, buddy. I exited my SPY calls because I was just fighting the 619 level. Is there any reason I should have stayed? It depends on where you got out. If you got out way right after you entered, then yeah, you probably needed to set a stop. But, I mean, I got out halfway up this move myself, so, yeah. Your VPA looks back a certain number of bars. Correct. So my fixed range volume profile looks back 500 bars. 500 look back. So if you're on the 15-minute chart, it looks back 500 15-minute bars. If you're on the 4-hour chart, it looks back 500 4-hour bars, so on and so forth. If you're on the visible range, it looks back whatever your visible range is. So you could scroll out and it'll change the visible range. Morgan Stanley says it expects the Fed to deliver 7 rate cuts in 2026. Have you ever been in a trading community where you ask a question about volume and everyone calls you an idiot for not using RSI? I came here instead. Oh, I love it. I love it. Unfortunately, that is probably true. But I'm glad you're here. What is the role significance of news tweets in our trading system? Volatility. You have to be aware of an influx of volatility. You don't want to be like, for example, 8:30 news posting, 9:30 Central, or 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern news postings like non-farm payroll tomorrow. You don't want to be trading or holding a trade not knowing that you could have a potential 200-point move about to whack you in the face in 30 seconds. You've got to be aware of the volatility influx and the shakeouts. No wicks on the 15-minute on NASDAQ. Statistically, those should be retraced too. Just grindy. RTY is recovering back up. Platinum is reaching the top of the range again. Do we get a double top on platinum? What do you think? SI. Gold still hasn't moved an inch. Oil's back and forth. One thing to think about, TPT has rules about holding trades during specific market events. You can't hold a position 1 minute before or after several data drops. Yep, 100%. That's correct, which I think is a good thing. Holy crap, what is that? I bet you someone's got that thinking that is prime time too. So you're just looking for the last criteria to be met before to short this? Yes and no, Sam. See, I'm not necessarily looking to short. I'm looking for the next phase. Whether it be consolidate, put in a bull flag, break above, or consolidate, top wick, and then move back over. So will I look for a short opportunity if it presents it? Yes, but I'm not necessarily looking to short. My system dictates that I only trade around very high level pivots. I took that high level pivot this morning and I got about 100 points of profit out of it. And of course I missed the second 50% of this move up. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. So now that opportunity has come and gone. Now I have to wait for the next opportunity. Even if this does reject all the way back over, do I need to take it? No, I don't. Do I want to take it? Yeah, sure, everyone does. But I'm not only thinking about this trade. I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about every trade. I'm thinking about my system, high-level view. I have to stick to my system day in and day out. If you break your rules, I said I wasn't going to trade, but I did anyway. That is not a brag. You're breaking, even if you made money, you're still breaking your system. You just happen to have made money when you did it. So for me, I have to trade on high value pivots. Now, 847, 848 on NASDAQ, that could be considered a high level pivot. In fact, if they do continue to top wick this, I may consider a possible downside short position. I guess downside short is kind of redundant. Today might be the first day I haven't taken a trade. Beautiful. That's perfectly fine. I think that's a good thing. My goal is to get all of you all to move towards less trading, trading less. Trading less. I will never ever fault you for not taking a trade. Now, if you are if you're consistently missing opportunities, that's something different. There's a difference between not trading and missing opportunities. If you're missing major pivots frequently, not just one, but frequently, then we need to tune that up a little bit. We need to get you executing, because there are times that you're just missing opportunities. This morning was a great opportunity off 600. Admittedly, I had no idea it was going to bounce this much, but I figured it was going to bounce some. And that's where you need to strike with the iron's hot, because it's not about guessing when this thing is going to rally 250 points straight without a pullback. It's continuously applying your entries at smart locations, setting a smart trailing stop, and then once every now and then you're going to catch a full 250 point trend. Am I still in TLT? Yes, I am. I intend to quadruple down into it. How did you determine that range with platinum? Let's go take a look. Great question. Right here. Two major prior pivots, week or yearly high, multi-year highs. So if you go back and look, July of 2016, it rejected and put in this high. February of 2021, we rejected high. May of 2021, we rejected the low. So obviously, these levels are so precise that shows you those are two major liquidity zones for this market to put in supply. So I put this up here before we rejected, as we were climbing into this. In fact, back in like June, I plotted this range. We came into it, we rejected the crap out of it. Now we're coming up and again, and this is going to determine the next 2-3 weeks on platinum. If this rejection comes back over, then we may have a 1200 or 1260 touch. If they absorb it and go up, then we're probably going somewhere in the ballpark of 1600 on platinum. I did not look back that far. Crazy how close those tops are far apart. Yeah, 100%. You've got to do high. You have to do higher time values. Got to higher time frames. I made my money and closed my broker earlier. Still haven't reopened it. Another trade. Beautiful. Do it. Love it. I have learned I don't do well in pre-market, so I only trade during the market hours. Then I miss this move. That's okay, Sam. That's okay, because this move started in pre-market. Admittedly, I mean, I haven't taken a second trade today. I just happened to have been on the charts when it touched 22,600. What was your original entry this morning? Here, I'll get you the exact entry. I plotted it. I posted it in the server. Orders. 22,598 was the actual entry. All right. So we're about to wrap this baby up. We got 2 minutes. Any questions before we call it a day? NASDAQ is putting on a nice little sell here right off the imbalance. Right off the imbalance. Look at that. Kind of looks like a brontosaurus pattern. One last hero check. Let's take a look. I can be your hero, baby. We have 1.7 billion in put and calls, but that is down from 2.2, and they have now purchased back 600 million in puts. So they are piling into some puts here. Are we just accumulating to go higher here? I mean, we have a lower low on the 15. We have a top wick. We have volume. So the 3 criteria is almost about to be met. If they can get a close under this 812 in the next 10 seconds, we'll have the 3 criteria met. The education's getting better and better. Thanks, Vampire. Appreciate you, buddy. Not to say that we're not going to go up later on, but Tesla suspending Optimus. I don't even know what that is. All right, y'all, that is the 10:30 time frame, so I appreciate y'all hanging out. Thanks for spending some time with us for an hour with Bookmap. Hope you learned a little bit. Other than that, I will see you all bright and early tomorrow morning in the Discord server for a half session. Otherwise, I'll see you next Wednesday in the Bookmap server. So hope you have a good rest of the day. Be safe. I'm out. See you.